On Sunday, West Ham's season of calamity and chaos comes to an end at Portman Road as the Hammers are fighting to secure a spot above Tottenham and Manchester United in the Premier League. That's the last we are talking of those two clubs tonight. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. Hope you are all well. It started with Julian Lopetegui. It will end with Graham Potter, and not a lot has changed between the two of them, with West Ham continually suffering from the same errors and same mistakes. Defensively, we were awful, and then secured, and then awful. Attackingly, we have been inept all season. A lot of work needs to be done in the summer for West Ham to recover and be where we want to be for next season. But before all of that is a game away from home at Ipswich, and here to discuss that with me is Phil and Gary. How are we, chaps?
All good, Jake. You?
Very good. I am not too bad. Glad the season is coming to an end, but also weirdly looking forward at the same time to a day out at Portman Road on Sunday, a ground that I haven't been to, so one to tick off my list of 92. And I don't think that we're coming back to the Premier League anytime soon, so a perfect opportunity to do so. Phil, I'll start with you with some thoughts on our opponents. Ipswich have gone down with a whimper, I think it's fair to say, and haven't really lived up to the expectations that people hoped. Spent quite a lot of money in the summer, but didn't quite cut the mustard, did they?
No, well, no one really expects them to go up. You could ask a lot of Ipswich fans that as well when they came up back to back from League One. It's always nice to see a team who's not been in the Premier League for a number of years, like Ipswich were. Last time they were in, it was in 2002. So yeah, it was good to see them back in. Not set the world alight. They're giving it a go, but they maybe it's time to establish themselves in the Championship for a couple of years and then push for the Premier League again.
Yeah, it feels like it all happened at 100 mile an hour, as Phil said, Gary. You know, 2 promotions on the bounce has its positives, of course, undoubtedly, but also this season they have had to endure the negatives of that, and it's just happened a little bit too quick and too premature for them, and they find themselves back down to the Championship, which I mean isn't awful for Ipswich, but of course they'd have liked to maintain survival in the Premier League and put up a little bit more of a fight. We've beaten quite comfortably at home, which we can't say that about many games this season, and they just haven't quite. I don't think they've found a good mix of Premier League experience and players that were really profitable in the Championship last year, and just not quite good enough for the, what are they called? What's their?
The Tractor Boys.
The Tractor Boys. There we go, Gary.
No, I can tend to agree, Jake. I think they did really well to come straight through the Championship, which is a tough league. They probably did that on the back of the momentum of the winning the League One. But the Premier League, as we all know, is a very, very tough league. Every week's a tough fixture. And I just think they just found it hard. You know, they've had a couple of beatings. It must be tough to look at the fixture list, and you know, next week you've got Tottenham or Arsenal or Chelsea or Man United or Liverpool. Every week you don't get any Derby counties away and Plymouth Argyle at home doing the Championship. You get the tough games. I think they bought well in the summer. I'm surprised they didn't do better. They had Calvin Phillips all season. He should have done better for them, I think. They bought our own talented Ben Johnson on a free, who hasn't got in. They got Delap. They got Jack Clark. They got some good players. They're not a bad side, but it'll be interesting on Sunday. I think this will be a tough game for West Ham, where we're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you've got as Gary said, you've got Delap, you've got Leif Davis, the fullback as well. They've got some decent players that will probably get picked out and move elsewhere in the summer. It's the Man United rumour with Delap, which was the most obvious rumour that was ever going to appear in football history. That may or may not happen, but I'd expect him to make a Premier League move in the summer. I just feel that they didn't quite make Portman Road the fortress that they needed to really, get those home points on the board. If you think back to Nottingham Forest a couple of years ago when they were really struggling, the City ground became a bit of a fortress, and that's where they picked up their points. They've been beaten convincingly too many times at Portman Road, and they just didn't quite establish their home as a real profitable point gaining venue, which you need as a small, promoted team coming into the Premier League.
Yeah, I think the momentum like that, it can only take you so far. The players, they're decent quality for the Championship, but ultimately it was just not really strong enough for the opposition that they face this season.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
one that surprised me, Phil, was when they lost at home to Southampton. Is it February or January or something like
Was
that?
that? That was
Such a
around
big
that time,
game.
yeah,
And when you lose over Southampton, you know you're struggling. So
Yeah,
that's
I think they either drew or lost at home to Leicester as well, and that's the two teams that have gone down.
Yeah.
Not picking up maximum points against those two pretty much epitomises why they are going down. They didn't pick up points against teams they should have done around them, and they in the end left themselves too much to do. I mean, there are similarities to Luton last season. Luton put up more of a fight and pushed it a little bit further, but it's that underdog figure, and I think many people expected a Luton-esque, survival charge from Ipswich, but didn't quite reach that. And I mean, it's probably for the best that it didn't for us, Gary, to be honest.
Yeah, I think probably 95% of football fans thought Ipswich would go down. So, but I think you're right, Jake. They could have put on a better fight of it than they did. I think they gave up a little bit too easily. So their first game of the season, I think they were at Man City from memory serves me right, away.
Yeah,
they did all right. They weren't disgraced or anything. And I thought to myself, well, they're not going to be too bad, but they just never got going, really, did they? Never got any momentum at all. And as you said, Jake, quite right, you've got to win your home games if you're going to stay up. Simple as that.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's been the tale of the tape for Ipswich this season, turning matters back home, which is rather bleak. This is an opportunity, one of our two opportunities to get 3 points and finish above Tottenham and Manchester United, completely discarding what happened last night. It's removed and eradicated from my memory. It would be nice just to have that in a really dull and dire season. To finish above both Tottenham and Manchester United would serve as just a little gesture and a little feeling of fair enough, okay, let's get it done and move on. Phil.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Season's been such a drag. It feels like ages when I went to the first game of the season.
Yeah,
and I felt last season was a drag, and it's just literally continued on with two different managers coming in, and yeah, it's just, I think us as a fan base, we're all feeling it. We wrote the season of probably at Christmas anyway, and then just hoping it can just finish, and then we can start again this summer, and then hopefully it won't be much of a drag next year.
Yeah. So bearing in mind this season is the first season in 5 or 6 years that we've changed managers mid-season. It's not something that we've done massively over the last few years. The last time we did it was at the end of 2019, going into 2020, when Pellegrini got sacked and David Moyes returned to the club. Now that had a positive impact, and we ended up staying up against all odds, and that was brilliant. This wasn't so smooth, Gary, was it? I mean, I can remember those first couple of games. Villa in the Cup was positive. We had a few positive games, but that positivity has evaporated pretty swiftly into, I think, is it 4 wins in 16 or something like that? It's been pretty much.
He's got 17 points
in
in 17 games, isn't he? And this is, no, I haven't read this anywhere, but statistically, this is the worst ever home season in our Premier League history.
Yeah.
We've lost 9 games at home. I mean, that's awful. And the other thing about it, it's really turgid, the football. The football is just so dull. It's just, I was there again on Sunday, and you just think to yourself, why have I bothered? And it's just, I shouldn't be like that. It costs me a lot of money to go out. You're up there. It's my hobby, I should be enjoying it, but I'm not. And I've renewed
Gary's been got to go. He's got his name engraved on the seat. You've got an obligation to be there.
Exactly, but I've renewed for next season, but it will be my last season unless things improve. Because back in the good old days, I used to go and watch West Ham. We always have a good day out, And now, I don't want us to win every week. I'm a West Ham fan. I know we're not going to win every week. We've never won every week, but we always play nice football. But now we're not even doing that. I don't know what Potter stands for. Still, I don't know what he stands for. So it's very disappointing. Disappointing lots of ways this season.
That's the issue. I mean, the real big annoyance with West Ham fans was the disillusionment at the start of the season with Lopetegui. Nobody could really work out what he was trying to do and how he was going to go about achieving it. And we had a few weeks where, okay, I can see what Potter's trying to do here, but that's gone. And Gary's absolutely right, and I can't work out what he's doing. And you've got to cut him a bit of slack in terms of he's not only not got his own squad with his own players, he's got a squad with 2 different managers' worth of players. It's a complete mismatch. You've got players from the Moyes era. Some of them are going after Sunday. Then you've got all the players that Steiden and Lopetegui brought in, most of them Dyer, and you put those two together, and it's a complete contrast of players, and you've just got a room of individuals there, basically, and that's shown on the pitch this season. We have been disjointed, disorganised, and disenfranchised. That was quite good, wasn't it?
And
in the way
disinterested
we
most of the time.
and disinterested as well, absolutely. In the way we've played and the way we've gone about it, and that's something Potter has to change in the summer. And there's only one way of doing that, Phil, and that's wholesale changes. And it's another rebuild, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's always hard when you've got to do something like that, when you've got to gut out your entire team and bring in a whole new team.
Yeah.
That's always going to be hard to bed in. So it's important, and I'm hoping him and the other guy he brought in gets all these deals done as early as possible, bed them into the team as early as possible, so you've got a full pre-season of finding an actual team which suits the system that he really wants. So as much as it's been a write-off since he's come in, I've always thought of it as like an extended pre-season, which has not really worked out. So
really, it has been a West Ham pre-season, because they never work out, do they?
no. The only decent one we had was we ended up
Well, we
getting
went
relegated
down.
anyway. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. But yeah, it's he's really got to find the players that he wants. He knows which positions which need to be filled. We know, as fans know, we need a whole new midfield. We need someone to lead the line. We need another goalkeeper. We need another defender. So it's literally a whole team, and it's got to be players with the individual quality as well as knowing how to work well as a team. That's the big thing.
And that's the issue, and it's getting some sort of integration within our team, which is currently lacking. Players that are leaving us on Sunday. Firstly, Fabianski. Now, he gave an interview, which well, I was quite shocked about, and I don't know whether, I know how these things sort of work. Like, they want the captain, or they want the player that's been quite involved in the game to go and do post-match interviews. Now, when I see, it wasn't for the British broadcasters, but for one broadcaster, you see Fabianski, who obviously I know it's his last game, so that's maybe what it was. But I wonder whether Fabianski has gone and he's found somebody to be interviewed by, and he expressed his dissatisfaction about not being involved in his final home game at West Ham. You've got to think that he plays Sunday, Gary, not being funny, because he's given West Ham a lot of years and a lot of games, and he's cocked up a couple of times, but he's not made a lot of horrendous howlers. He's been a good servant to the club, and it would be a massive shame if he goes off without playing on Sunday.
Yeah, I think the last home game is always special for these players, and I think it was a mistake. At the end of the day, Father Time's caught up with him. He's 40 now, very nearly 40. Yeah. He can't go on much longer. Yeah. But let's be honest, he wouldn't have done any worse than Areola did on Sunday, would he?
Exactly. I was going to make that point. Maybe that was a bit of karma right there to Graham Potter with
exactly.
With what Areola did. Yeah.
And the same with Cresswell. I don't know why he took him off with 4 players. Take him off on his own.
I said the exact same thing. Yeah.
The bloke's been an absolute legend, whether you like him or not. 11 years service, great footballer. His legs are gone. I'll have kept another year, but the decision's been made. Take him off on his own. Wouldn't have hurt at all. Yeah.
Somebody had to have a bit of sense there. Somebody had to have a bit of sense there. Yeah. He got taken off and he got lost in 4. It was a quadruple substitution, and you think, just leave it a minute, right? Yeah. And let him have his moment on his own, because that would have been special. And he got a sort of moment where he was like clapping, and that was it, and it was gone just like that, and there wasn't really anything to it. And not giving the fellow a testimonial, not giving him the proper send off he deserves. He gets a framed signed shirt or whatever it was,
but that was rushed as well for the game. I thought
was yeah.
To be fair to the commentator, once he got taken off with the others, he did say his name again to try and get another round of applause.
Yeah,
but it's not good enough, Jake. It's really not good. It's not good enough for Fabianski not to come on for 5 minutes at the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
I reckon it might be different if we was like winning 3-0 at that point, and then maybe you would have kept him for 5 minutes, then come on, because then he can't do anything wrong then.
effectively didn't matter, did it? Like nobody really
No.
bothered.
No, exactly.
Like we were losing whatever we were, and it really wouldn't have hurt to leave it a minute and take him off on his own and let him have his moment. Well, I mean, a perfect scenario on Sunday is for Fabianski to start in goal, for Fabianski for a goal kick to spray it out to the left, for Cresswell to chest it down, to run forward, to put a deep ball into the box, and for Soufal to come on to the end of it and volley it into the back of the net to score his one and only goal in a West Ham shirt in 5 years. Imagine that.
The thing is, Jake, I mean,
That'd be
I'm not
brilliant.
comparing them as players, but Kevin De Bruyne left City on Wednesday, and he's been there 11 years as well. Now, of course, he's a far better player than Cresswell. I'm not even going to have that argument. But, you know, he was taken off on his own. He was given loads of stuff afterwards. Went on the pitch afterwards, spoke to the fans, all that sort of stuff. Cresswell just shut out the door. I find it really disrespectful, my personally.
Yeah, I think it sort of showcases the football club. Really, if you want to show the class of the football club, you can see it right there. But yeah, in terms of the battle in this game, I mean, I don't know what Ipswich last game in the Premier League. I can imagine it's going to be quite a jovial atmosphere. If Soufal scores, we're on the pitch, will be a chant that will appear. And I do reckon, I think we should do a bit of bingo on what second do you think the away end are going to start chanting "Say Hello to Millwall." I'm going to say on about 13 seconds. That is going to be brought out of the cabinet and directed towards the Ipswich fans. But no, all joking aside, I feel like Mike there. That's Mike saying. Will it be a battle? Will it be hard? I'm not sure. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to suggest that by any stretch. They want to go out on a high in the Premier League at home. There's no doubt about that. But will our sort of temporary quality that can appear or cannot appear at points be too much for Ipswich in this game, Phil? What do you think?
They've got no pressure whatsoever in this game. They can go out, do whatever they want, and then comparing it to us, where our heads are already in the sand, they're all thinking about their holidays. So
Yeah,
it's going to be one of those games where there's got to be not much focus or anything going ahead. So it's just going to be anything could happen, really.
Yeah.
It's a really tough one to call. I mean, this West Ham side as well, Arsenal as well as Newcastle as well as Manchester United, but it could lose 5-0, which we all know it could happen. So it depends, what sort of mood the players are in, what sort of mood the Ipswich players are in, and it depends on, it's a really hard one to call this one. I'm certainly not putting any money on any outcome in this game. It could be anything. It literally could be anything.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of the beast in these games towards the end of the season, when you've got teams on the beach and teams with no, sort of affiliation or direction to do anything. That's what you end up with, and unpredictability is rife at this time of year. And it seems like weird going into the final day of the season. There's always a bit of anticipation going into the final day of the season, because typically in the last few years there's been something on the title race, or there's been something interesting, but nobody seems too bothered, to be honest. Everyone's thinking about a nice summer holiday. I know there's still the European battle that's raging on, but that's not really catching the front back pages or catching people's attention too much. I think it just sums up what's been a really bizarre and turgid season, to be honest, and everyone can't wait for it to be over.
No, I can't.
Gary's thinking, I ain't got too much longer. I've got to go up there and park at Richmond and go round.
When I sat on the train on Sunday, I thought, thank God for that. I shouldn't be thinking that, should I?
Yeah, no, very true. Very true. Predictions then. Now this is tricky. Phil, I'm going to spring it to you first and request your prediction.
I've got a scoreline, but I can't tell you
why.
Who.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's going to be 3-1, but I don't know who to.
There we are. You may or may not have nicked the host's prediction there, which is a black mark on your name. That is for sure. But Gary?
What I'd like to see is Ipswich Town 1, West Ham United 2, with a free kick from Aaron Cresswell and a headed goal in the last minute, diving header from Soufal at the far post.
There you go. So you two have just nick me prediction and me backup prediction, and we're certainly not having you back, that's for sure. I'm gonna have to be really extravagant then, aren't I? They're gonna score though, aren't they? That's the thing. I can't predict a nil because they are gonna score. Sod it. Ipswich 1, West Ham 4. I've got no basis on that. I've got nothing to support that. No evidence to suggest that that's going to happen. But who knows? Who knows?
What do you think our transfer priority should be then, chaps? Yeah, what's our main problem? You got to buy one player.
A striker.
So hard. Striker.
Actually, no. Scrap that. A midfielder. Forget striker. A midfielder.
A midfielder with legs.
Need some power. Yeah.
And then a goalkeeper.
But
you've got to prioritise every position.
Every position. The frustration of it is that there's a basis of a squad there which we may lose with players over the summer. But if we can keep hold of Souček there, I don't think we're going to keep hold of Paqueta. And if we can keep hold of one of Alvarez and Paqueta and add just the perfect midfielder that we've talked about for months and months and months, to have some legs and some creativity and enforce some dominance over it. That's a pretty decent midfield, but currently it's just toothless. And if I've got to watch Ward-Prowse and Souček in a midfield 2 again next season, I think I'm going to boycott it completely. I'm going to be totally honest. I cannot sit through that anymore. It is painful. That's not even the word for it. That's saying it lightly. It is just excruciating.
I've got a shout out for Wan-Bissaka. He's playing on the left. He's clearly on left footed, but he's still brilliant. He's been our man of the match for so many times this season. And he takes responsibility, which I like about him as well. He goes forward and he gets some crosses in. And he does something rather than Ward-Prowse pass sideways and backwards all the time. It's just frustrates the hell out of me. It really does.
Right, let's take some comments with the West Ham editor. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Fathead, I hope you are well. Andy as well. Sharky, thanks for joining us. With Manu getting Cunha, surely they don't get Delap too. And you'd like to think not, but hey ho.
Well, Fernandez is going to Saudi, isn't he?
Saudi, I read that earlier.
That's right,
yeah. How poor were United last night? So poor. Jesus wept. It was painful. I actually felt a little bit better about West Ham after that game, to be totally honest, and that says it all. But
how can Johnston claim that goal, by the way? He flicked it.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I was confused by that.
Yeah,
I'm assuming he must have had a last minute,
a
little flick on with the tiptoe.
Yeah.
When it bounced off.
It's just annoying.
Fact says if Ipswich had won the games when they were 2 goals up, they'd probably be safe. It's the fine margins of it, isn't it? It's the fine margins of it. 2-1 West Ham, 1-0 West Ham. Fabianski has to start absolutely. 2-1 West Ham, 2-0 up and concede late. That is true. No one really gets testimonials now. I don't think we should be hung on to that too much. But it would have been nice for a more prominent and better send off for Creswell, in my opinion. If Soufal scores, I will cry. I think there'll be a lot of laughs in the away end.
He nearly scored on Sunday, didn't he?
He did, and it just dipped. It didn't quite dip enough, did it?
Right, the very start of the shot, it was deflected wide.
Yeah. I think the sense of apathy that I had, that was the only time that I actually got off of the back of my chair at home. Like when I saw him strike it, I was like, oh my god, there's no way.
One question, you two watched it at home. Was the ref about as bad at home as he was?
It was dreadful, wasn't it? At the end, he'd lost the plot. Completely lost the plot.
I said to the bloke sitting next to me, I've never seen a ref lose a game so much. He completely lost control.
And the way he sort of solemnly charged around at the end, he made it all about himself. And honestly,
he lost it completely. He had no idea what was going on.
And there was danger at Sky Sports because it nearly ran over. They literally, the game finished 25 past 4. So they had to quickly go over to the 4 game. They thought we could have 2 games going at once and it was going to be chaos. But eventually blew the whistle on them. What was it, 107th minute or something stupid like that?
He lost the game completely. That big scrap at the end, I obviously couldn't see from my seat what was going on. But the referee just stood and watched it. I thought, you've got to get involved, mate. You can't just stand and
that's what they all do now. That seems to be the new methodology. It's just stand back and let them do it. And when they finish, then get involved. Just split it up and stop it. I
don't know what's going on there.
Chris, hope you well. Leicester fan, do us a favour and beat Ipswich so we can stay in 18th. That's how bad our season has been. Not good for the Foxes. Fathead off topic, but is the only successful manager who will change this season Moyes to Everton? Have been any other managers?
Wolves guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's been excellent, hasn't he? Yeah.
What's his name?
Vitor Pereira. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done really well. He has.
Yeah.
That
Fighters as
goes
Man
to
United.
show, yeah.
Go on.
I was going to say, because like, remember when we played Wolves end of last year when O'Neill and Lopetegui, their both jobs were on the line. That was like an El Sacchio game.
El Sacchio, yeah.
Yeah, and to see the transformation that Wolves did when Pereira came in, it goes to show what happened. Why couldn't we do it?
Mm.
Yeah, very true. Absolutely. Well, you look at Bournemouth and say, why couldn't we do it? And you look at
Mm.
Palace and say, why couldn't we do it? And the list goes on and on. Yeah, 4-1, so the end of the season, why not? I've not been drinking despite I had my third. No, I didn't. I had my fourth A-level exam today. Finished till after half term now, so I've got a nice break.
Excellent.
How's you on, Jake? All right, really?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I spent my morning talking about Frankenstein and Handmaid's Tale, and if anyone knows how solemn and desolate those books are, then they will sympathise with me in that sense. But yes, it was fine. I got through it. It was okay. So I've got 2 left after half term, and then I'm free of
Good for you,
A-level
mate.
exams.
Well
A
done.
long time ago, I did my A-levels. A long time ago.
Yeah, I don't think they were called A-levels then, were they? They were
They
called
were.
like,
They were.
were they? Blimey.
Yeah, they were.
Blimey. One player, Liam Delap, very good indeed. Yes, I had an exciting email earlier on. Do you want me to divulge?
Yeah,
Please
go for
do.
it.
I mean that sounds a little bit more serious than it actually is.
Yeah.
I had an email this morning, and on Saturday morning, I am going to be appearing on BBC Radio 5 Live on the Patrick Kilty show to discuss my unwavering allegiances to West Ham and play their higher or lower game about match day food.
What time are you on, Jake? About 10?
I'm on about 9:15 on Saturday morning.
I should listen in.
So yes,
I
they're
might
going to
send
ask
an
me.
email to Patrick just to abuse you.
You want what?
Send an email to Patrick just to abuse you.
Yeah, okay, you do that, mate. You do that. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about West Ham and the season and my backstory, and then I've got to answer questions about whether certain foods are higher or lower cost than others on a football away day. So that is going to be on Saturday morning and something to look forward to on BBC Radio 5 Live. Hopefully, I'll get a little plug as well.
Good for you,
Yeah,
mate. Good for
give me and Gary a shout out on there, as we've been on there for years.
Absolutely. My if I'm asked about YouTube, I'll have to mention my regulars, my biggest supporters. Absolutely.
Good for you, mate.
Yes. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, very good.
Indeed. Right then. So yeah, thanks everybody for getting involved.
You have to pretend you actually go to the bar and buy these foods now, Jake, don't you?
Thank you, fathead. I'm going to ignore that because I'm going to simply rise above it. But there we are. Right. Thank you very much indeed for joining us on our final match preview of the season. We will aim to do a whole season review dissection. We'll get everybody for that, hopefully, that is available after the season. So once the dust has settled, to analyse and dissect what and where has gone wrong. That will take a while.
Yeah,
that will take a while. So we'll book up the whole evening for that, and we'll get to drink something preferably strong to discuss what we've seen over the last 9 months or so and look forward to the future. Phil, Gary, thank you very much indeed for joining me on my final match preview of the season. The others could not be bothered, so
safe travels on Sunday, Jay. Enjoy the game.
We're going tomorrow night. We're making a good old weekend of it in Clacton. Then we're going to Ipswich. We're going to have a fantastic time.
Oh, good for you. I'm going on a cruise tomorrow, so I can't.
Are you? Oh, blimey. Where are you off to?
Just the Med.
Just the Med. Like he goes there every other week, you know.
I go most years, to be fair.
What ship, Gary?
I'll straight to that.
Honestly, useless. Don't even know what ship you're going on the cruise tomorrow.
I just pay for it and then just turn up.
Have you packed the suitcase, or has that been done for you? That's been done for you. Yeah,
I'll do it tomorrow.
You'll do it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll go to Saturday.
Oh, right. Okay, okay, fair enough. Right, from us, come on your irons, and I'll see you soon right here on West Ham Unofficial. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you. Cheers, guys.